right, welcome to First and Filoni, our first episode of the 2024 season here with college football. Thank you guys for joining us once again for our third season. Andrew, how you doing, man? You ready for some football starting with week 0?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long year, and I'm excited for it to finally be back. We have like 8 days now.
Yeah, no, not even that. We have games this weekend. We got 3 games this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm
But
thinking
then
of my
next
own
week,
team.
yeah, we got when this comes out, we'll have about 8, 7, 8 or 8, 9 days till the real college football starts, 7, 8 days. So excited for all
I'm
of that.
definitely looking forward to seeing game day again. That's a Saturday must in the South.
Oh yeah, yep. And they're gonna be in Ireland this year, so Pat McAfee's gonna go crazy. So all right, so let's do a quick review of everything that's changed over the offseason. So this is the first year of the 12-team playoff, moving from four. It'll be at least 12 teams for the next 2 years, and they're talking about maybe moving to 14 or keeping it at 12. What are your thoughts on the 12-team playoffs? Do you think it's going to be good for the sport, bad for the sport? I see a lot of mixed feelings online.
I like it because you get more college football. You know what I mean? You're going to actually see teams play other teams that you would probably never see.
Right.
Besides, you know what I mean? Typically, that's a conference versus conference, but you're pretty much going from a 12 to a 14 team playoff. I mean, it
Yep.
just goes to show, anybody's going to have their day. So I think it'll be a whole lot more interesting than the typical 14 playoff.
Yeah, I agree. I think also the first week of games will be home games too. So like to see hypothetically Penn State host like a Notre Dame or like Ole Miss or something like that. And
Well, not only that, not only, well, that's another thing too. I mean, think about the money that the university is
right,
going to get and, the recruiting trail,
right.
for when you play these type of teams.
It's yeah, kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see how it goes. I think we'll have a lot less opt-outs as well, which I think has been kind of killing the sport for the last couple of years in the bowl games. But we'll see here. Also, we got some new teams and new places. So I'm going to list off a bunch of teams in their new division. No more Pac. Well, there is technically a Pac-12 with 2 teams for the next 2 years at least. But we have a bunch of new teams in different places. So we got USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington all the way in the Big Ten. Utah and Colorado into the Big 12. SMU, and Stanford into the ACC, and Texas and Oklahoma into the SEC. Out of those teams, do you have anyone that like maybe you think will be in for a rude awakening, or do you think we'll just dominate those conferences?
Uh, honestly, I think it's more of a balance. You know what I mean? I
Interesting.
mean, to me, I think uh I think some of them teams on the West Coast, bouncing to the Big Ten is going to be a wake up call because that's more
Yeah.
defense instead of offense.
Yep.
Um, but as far as you know me, I'm more of an ACC guy than anything. And
The All Coast
between the
Conference.
yeah, between Cal, Stanford, and SMU, I mean, and Cal's one of those teams that can mess somebody's season up. Stanford,
SMU.
I kind of want to get back to the whole Stanford days, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And SMU, I mean, they're
Preston Stone is a
slowly but
stud.
surely, yes, they're surely, making their footstep on the door, trying to be a powerhouse. So they're sneaky under the radar.
If SMU gets
And I think,
the
and I
NIL
think
money,
also,
they'll
yeah,
be
if
good.
SMU gets the end, yeah. But I think the two teams that I really want to see how they fare off is definitely going to be Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's gonna have a bad year and Venables is gone. I don't think that offense is gonna handle an SEC defense.
No, that's more offensive than defense there.
Yeah. Okay, and then one last thing before we just get into our conference previews. For the rest of the show, we'll do conference previews, we'll do playoff predictions, Heisman winners, and then we'll get into some game picks. Kind of a shorter week, but a good week to get us kicked off into week 0 here. So we're gonna play a quick little game that you don't know anything about, but we're gonna say Same face, new place. So you tell me where this player is because we're in the era of the transfer portal. Um, I'll list a couple players and you tell me um, where you think they went or and how you think they're gonna do. So the biggest name is Caleb Downs, the safety from
Wow.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Ohio State. You're right. Yep. That'll be an interesting one right there. What about Cam Ward?
Yeah. He went from Houston to Miami,
Washington. Yeah, Washington State. Yep.
Washington, Washington.
Yep, to Miami. That'll be interesting. What about gosh, I just lost a couple. Dylan Gabriel.
He is now at Oregon.
Yep, that'll be interesting to see with Dan Lanning as we'll see how that goes there. Grayson McCall.
Yeah, I think he wound up with some with the white and red of NC State, I believe.
I believe so. And then last
Traded
one,
in traded into teal and black.
Quinshawn Jenkins. Judkins. Ooh, Quinshawn Judkins.
I
Quarterback
want
from Ole Miss went
I
to
want to say Texas.
Ohio State. So they got
Okay.
Travion Henderson and him as a 1-2 punch you in the mouth with Will Howard at quarterback now. So those five were big names for me that stood out. Do you have any other ones that may have stood out in the transfer portal this year? I know we talked a little bit about it in the spring when they all announced in December, but now that everything's getting ready to go, I figured we'd do a quick little recap.
No, you kind of caught me off guard with this one. I think if I had to pick out of those, I would think the biggest one would be Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. Yeah, I'm interested to see
Yeah.
how he does. Miami seems to have all the pieces, but I don't know if Cristobal can. Cristobal's a good recruiter, it seems, but I don't know if he can coach. Same thing with Billy Napier, right? Like they're good recruiters. Can they put it together in year three for either one of them? Um, I guess we'll see.
I have a
Okay.
feeling. I have a feeling though, if Cristobal can't win with what he's recruited and what he's
Yeah.
gotten through the portal, he's out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think is success then for him? 8, 9 wins? Nine, I mean, because he was 7-5 last year, right?
Nah, to me, in order for him to stay, he has to win 9 games.
That's going to be tough. I think the ACC is going to be like the Big 12 of last year this year.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. I mean, he's what is he, year 3, year 4?
Year three.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's not going to sit around. I mean, look what they did with who was it before him? Wasn't Mark Rick, was it?
No, I can't remember off the top of my
Diaz,
head.
Manny Diaz.
Yep. Well, he's at Duke now, so maybe Manny
Yeah,
Manny will get his revenge on him.
yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the conference previews. I'll give you dealer's choice on where you want to start here of the four main conferences.
Um, I'll say we start off with the Big 12 because you're going to be surprised at this one.
Big 12, okay. So Big 12, we got three categories for each one. We'll talk a little bit about them in each, and then we'll give our champion as well. So we'll start, go ahead with the championship game. Don't give your winner yet, but who do you have in the championship game?
Hmm. You're going to have to remind me who's in the Big 12. I must have missed that because I only thought we were doing dark horse teams only.
Oh, no. Okay. So we got like Utah, West Virginia, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Kansas, Colorado, um, Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, Arizona State.
All right, I think. Well, that's going to give away my daggone my
All right. Well, who's
underdog
your dark
there.
horse? Who's your dark horse? We'll go with that.
I'm going with UCF.
Really
Yeah, I really am. I think
interesting.
they have a loaded offense. I mean, they got a
KJ
lot coming back.
Jefferson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. KJ
Oh,
Jefferson, but you got to think, man, he's got Gus Malzahn, the offensive minded genius.
yeah, but I don't think KJ's as good as like he had one good season. He was dog shit last year, man.
Yeah, but he's got a fresh start. I'm telling you,
Okay, that's
I think
fair.
that's my dark horse.
So dark horse, I had two teams that were dark horses. One's Oklahoma State and one's West Virginia. Um,
I knew you were going to pick them.
yeah, Ollie Gordon is going to be a monster.
Yep.
Hint for Player of the Year for me for in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I think he might hit
All right.
2,000 yards this year. In West Virginia, I love Garrett Green, man. He reminds me of like a Tim Tebow type quarterback. Can't throw the ball, but will run it, will run his head into a brick wall and just I mean, he seems to win. Um, so those are my two, and that leads into my player of the year. I mean, it's Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon, like I said, I think he's going to hit 2,000 yards rushing at least. Alan Bowman's coming back, so they'll have a seventh year quarterback there. Mike Gundy, when he has a running back, is always a pretty good team. They had a down year again last year, so this just means like one every 3 years he has a pretty good season. I think Ollie Gordon's the player of the year in the Big 12.
I like it.
Same for you.
Yeah. That's honestly who I had on paper,
It just makes
believe it or
sense,
not.
right? Like it just makes sense. And then the championship game, I'll go ahead and knock mine out. I have Utah versus Kansas State. That's why I put Oklahoma State and West Virginia in the dark horse teams, because I could see both of them interrupting it. But you can always count on Utah for 10 wins. Now, that might be the Pac-12 speaking, but night games at Utah, they're not losing. And Kansas State, they do have a sophomore quarterback with Avery Johnson, but Chris Kleiman might be the best coach in the Big 12 outside of Kyle Whittingham and
Yeah.
whatnot.
I'm honestly not trying to piggyback off that, but I had Kansas State in the championship game. To me,
Yeah,
you have to go with Utah. You got Cam Rising coming back for what, his seventh
seventh.
year?
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
if he's
he's
healthy,
fully
he's going to be
healthy,
good.
so it's going to be, yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to go away from that pick on that one.
And who do you have winning? I have Utah. I can't pick against Utah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I would have to say Utah. The only thing I say about Kansas State is they surprised the hell out of me in the bowl game,
Yeah,
especially with,
they're good, man. Avery Johnson, that
the way their
quarterback,
defense played. Yeah.
he's a stud, man. So we both have Utah winning the Big 12. No Colorado this year for me. I think they're going to be better. I think they'll go to a bowl game. But I don't know. We'll see. I might hop on the Dion train if they can beat North Dakota State. I think they're going to lose that game because North Dakota State's amazing. Let's go ahead and go to I think probably the next worst conference. No offense. We'll go to the ACC. We'll start off with dark horse team. My dark horse team is the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Looking at their schedule, I can see three potential losses max. So I think their floor is about 8-4, and I think their ceiling is 11-1. And I have them at about 9-3, 10-2, maybe competing for that ACC championship game. But I don't trust Dave Dorn to get that 10th win, so I have them as a dark horse team. No offense. He just hasn't done it.
Yeah. So I
I
had
hope they
two
do it.
dark horse teams in the ACC. I had one of them NC State, and the other one was Virginia Tech.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Virginia Tech returns a lot of starters.
Yep. And did you see their schedule?
Got a lot of start, and their schedule highly favors them.
Yep. And
Now on
Kyron
the flip
Jones is the
side,
real deal.
yeah. On the flip side, I got NC State, but in order for me to be a believer in this NC State team in the first 4 weeks of the season, you either have to beat Tennessee at the neutral site at
Yeah.
Charlotte Bank of America Stadium,
Yep.
or you have to beat Clemson. You have to win one of those two in order for me. Okay, if you lose to Tennessee, whoop you do. If
Yeah.
you
Tennessee's
win
good.
against Clemson, yeah, but if you win against Clemson, you have that you have that clause in your back pocket to where you can have a bump in the road, say late October, and lose a game and still be able to be in contention to be an ACC championship.
So the three games that I have them scheduled, that I have circled on their schedule, is the two that you mentioned, and those are in September, both of them. Tennessee and Clemson. I think they could potentially lose both of those games and still be okay, still be in the conversation. But for them to be a serious contender, they have to win the Clemson one, I think. But the other one that I have circled comes soon after, honestly, after Clemson on October 12th, Syracuse. Nobody's talking about Syracuse. Syracuse's schedule is dog shit, and that just seems like a spot where that just seems like a loss for Dave Dorn on his normal teams. So those are the three potential losses that I could see. But like I said, NC State's schedule is pretty favorable,
Really,
especially if they lose early, they could win
see,
out
I could see them.
everybody's top.
See, I could see them having a mishap with Wake Forest before Syracuse.
Northern Illinois or Wake Forest.
No, Forest.
Yeah. Yeah, because you never know with Wake Forest. They play harder against UNC and NC State.
Because that's well, not only that, but that's an in-state rivalry.
Yeah.
So them games always tend to be, more fired up than what they should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm excited to see them, man, because it seems like they have the team to do it. But obviously that's Homer pick because that's your team. Um, but I do have them as a dark horse, and I don't think it's a bad thing I have them as their dark horse. I think the ACC is wide open this year, man. I really do.
I think
Um,
just let them fly under the radar.
there's because everybody's talking about the big three, right? Miami, Clemson, FSU,
Yep.
and I don't believe those three are as solid as everybody thinks. Um, so we're gonna go into player of the year. I'm gonna let you go first for player of the year because my player of the year will lead into the championship game because I can't say who it is because their team is in the championship game.
Hmm.
I like this kid, man. I really, really like this kid that I'm gonna pick. Go ahead and say it, Grayson McCall.
I don't
Let's
even know
go.
who. I
Put the
can't do
pressure
it.
on
I
early.
think he'll be the.
Inspire Dorn by
I
September
think
21st.
no. I think he'll be comeback player of the year.
I can see that.
Uh,
That'd be a good one for him. You gonna go DJ?
I think the player. No, I want to say player of the year for me. It's hard. I don't even want to pick against him, but I just feel like he's going to see so much coverage, and I think you're going to have to go. I'm going to go with Noah Rogers,
Okay.
wide receiver for NC State. I think he's going to relieve a lot of pressure off of
For KC.
KC.
Yeah. So you're gonna say he's gonna come on the scene then? Like,
That's uh, four-star recruit, transfer from Ohio State. They talk like he is just straight lighting it up in camp. Between him, Hollywood Smothers, I have to go. I'm gonna go wide receiver in this, and honestly, I want KC to be the one, but
yeah.
I just think after last year, there's going to be so much pressure and double team on KC. You're going to have somebody else who can catch the ball and make plays, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with
Well,
Noah Rogers.
Casey's gonna look good in Georgia red and black next year. So, um,
And he's not transferring. He's already said that.
all right. Well, my dark horse team. Do you have any guess or player? I mean, player of the year. Do you have any guesses?
Yeah, you're going with Kyron Jones.
I am going Kyron Jones, man. I or Drones. I think he's the real deal. I think their schedule is very favorable. They have two tough games at Miami on September 27th and then versus Clemson November 9th. I think versus Clemson November 9th will be a massive game. And if that happens to be at night and Virginia Tech has 0 or 1 losses, Lane Stadium is going to be bumping. And going
Well,
into
let
Lane
me let me
Stadium in
ask this.
November is not fun for anybody.
Let me ask this. I know it's early in the year. If Brent Pry has an average season, does he stay or does he
Yeah.
go?
If he gets 7-5, he stays. 6-6, I can see. It depends on if how bad he lose or who he loses to. If he loses to like Old Dominion and Marshall or Old Dominion and Vanderbilt, I would say he's probably gone. I don't know though, because they really like him at Tech and he's recruited very well. And he's brought that program.
That
Remember
is.
3 years ago, that program was crap 3 years ago. It's a shame, but in Virginia Tech historically has always been in that 8 to 10 win team. So if they can get back to that, I don't see why not. But that leads into my championship game. I have FSU versus Virginia Tech. I only have Virginia Tech losing one
Oh,
game.
you changed or you switched.
No,
Yeah, you did. I
yeah,
had
I did
text
have NC
messages to
State
prove
versus
that.
Virginia Tech. No, I'm going FSU.
Yeah.
I can't go too crazy, man. I wanted to mix up because, like I said, everybody's picking Clemson or Miami, and I think Virginia Tech will have one loss, maybe two, and I think that'll be enough because I think Clemson will probably lose 2 to 3. I think Miami is gonna lose. They're gonna lose week one, and I think they're gonna lose probably one or two more after that. Um, and
Well, since you're not
FSU,
going to say it,
huh?
since you're not going to say it, I will. NC State, Virginia Tech.
There we go. I love the confidence, man. I could see that happening because I don't know, like Florida State literally lost um, all of their like starters and playmakers and everything like that. I still think they win the championship game, unfortunately. But I think FSU or I think FSU Virginia Tech. I think that'll be fun, a fun throwback for ACC. Who do you have winning, NC State or VT?
Let's bring it back. I'm going to say NC State for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah. Wow.
If there's no hiccups,
That's
I think the team between Tennessee, Duke.
I don't think
No, I
Duke's
want
gonna
to
be
say
that
between
good.
Tennessee and Clemson.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're we
They
have a
got Malik
tendency to
Murphy.
lose the games we're supposed to win. So you gotta remember that.
Yeah.
I think between those two conference, well, between Tennessee and the Clemson game, I think that'll make a team more prepared for the moment if they are able to get to that championship point.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I would love to see that as a championship game. I would love NC State to win it. Um,
Well, I'll put it to you this way: if it is Virginia Tech, NC State, I'll buy the ticket. You buy your flight up.
to Charlotte. I'll be in the Dominican, buddy.
Yep. No, well, you can cancel that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Big Ten. Dark horse team for the Big Ten. Um, I think this is the year, that they shine because it is a 12-team playoff. I'm going Penn State as my dark horse team. I don't think they make it to the championship game, but I think they could potentially they have a chance if Drew Aller steps up and their new offensive coordinator is better than last year's.
I had two teams from my dark horses. I went with Iowa and Nebraska.
I like the Nebraska pick. Year three, two with Rule
Go two for Rule. Yeah,
is always a good one, and they got Dylan Raiola. You're banking on him
yeah,
panning out, which all indicators seem like he's gonna be good.
yeah. The thing with Iowa is that always gets me every year is how elite their defense is. Just their
Yeah.
offense is just the question.
Well, they don't have Torrey
But they do
Taylor
got it.
anymore to help them, so we'll see how good they are on
Yeah.
special teams.
Well, they got a new offensive coordinator, so maybe he'll come in and
Yeah.
he's he's going to have some hiccups. But I think to me, out of the two, Iowa's going to stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that for sure. Iowa, I just can't pick Iowa because I don't trust their offense, man. Like, but they have to, like, they have to do something because you're right. Their defense is good. The atmosphere is there. There's no divisions in that in any conference anymore. So they can't rely on being on the Big Ten West. Um, who's your player of the year?
In the Big Ten,
Big Ten.
I'm gonna have to go Dylan Gabriel. I think he balls out.
I do too. I hate to say it because I don't think he's even that good, but in Dan Lanning's offense, if Bo Nix can do what he did last year, Dylan Gabriel might be a little better. So I think Dylan Gabriel's gonna shine, man. Uh, All right, yeah. So Dylan Gabriel, like I said, we're both on the same page there. So then for my championship game, I have Oregon versus Ohio State, and I have Ohio State winning it.
Yeah, I had the same.
I think Ohio State's roster is too good. Everybody's talking about it's the best roster that they've ever seen. Um, so
Yeah,
I
but
suppose
if they don't win with this roster, Brian Day's gone.
the only downside they have is Will Howard at quarterback. I think he's okay enough, but they
Yeah, but
have
that's who
all
they
the
went and
pieces
got.
around it. Right, right. They got the kid from Alabama saying Julian saying, and then they got another freshman quarterback coming in too that they could do, but apparently Will Howard is going to be the starter, and I mean, let him. We'll see. We'll see. I think Michigan's going to have more than four losses. They can't cheat this year, and they have a whole new roster. So, um, we'll see what happens there. Um, but okay, we're on the same page. Big Ten then, and then finally SEC. Um, dark horse team I have, and there's two, right? One of them is a true dark horse. One of them is dark horse because of injuries. The one dark horse because of injuries, I think, is Texas. They're losing people left and right. Starting running back and backup running back are hurt right now. Um, Quinn Ewers I trust, but it's going to get loud if they lose one game to put in Arch Manning. So Texas is one of them, and also Florida. I know this is a homer pick, I think, for a dark horse for Florida. They have the hardest schedule, but they're returning a ton of people. Graham Mertz is fully healthy. Um, they got a bunch of five-star recruits as freshmen starting to play again, like or this year. Bunch of transfers that were 4 and 5 stars. I think Florida is not going to be as bad as people think. I think they can go undefeated into like their seventh game, which then starts the gauntlet of like Georgia, Texas, Florida State. Like they have a gauntlet, 5 games, Ole Miss and LSU, I believe. Um, Not in that order, obviously, but like they are all five back to back to back. So I think they can go undefeated until then, and then if they can at least win two of those games, they're going to be in the conversation. So those are my two dark horse teams.
I've only got one dark horse, and I'm going with Texas A&M.
Ooh, Mike Elko.
Mike Elko. I don't think the talent is the issue. They can get the recruits. They got the money. I just think the team needed a new start, and they just got to believe in themselves and trust in themselves and the system. I mean, look what Elko did with Duke.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I think if Elko comes out with 7 or 8 wins, I mean that's a
that's a
positive.
start. I think they're going to go 8 or 9 wins, to be honest with you. I can see that. They're going to lose to Florida, but I can see them
I
going eight
mean,
or nine
yeah,
wins. They play Florida early. I think they can fix it by
I
the
don't
end of the
know.
year.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, but I went with Texas A&M.
I can see that. Player of the year, I'm gonna keep it simple. It's Carson Beck. I think George is on a
Yep.
revenge tour this year. Nico, I love Nico from Tennessee, but I think he needs 1 year under his belt before we start talking about player of the year. But I have Carson Beck.
Yeah, I had Carson back as well.
Like watch Georgia put average 50 points this year because they missed out last year. Like
Yeah,
I'm I'm gonna be scared of Georgia this year if I have to play them.
All you have to do is watch Pat McAfee's video. Who's that rolling down the
Yeah,
tracks?
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be scary. And that leads into my championship game. I had Georgia versus Tennessee. I think Tennessee's a two-loss team. I think Bama loses 3 games, and Texas with those injuries, I think they're a 2-3 loss team. So I have Georgia, Tennessee.
Well, I had Texas and Georgia.
I can see that. That's probably going to be what it is. And who do you have winning, sir? I have uh I have Georgia winning it. Like I said, I think they're coming on a rampage here. They're 1 loss maybe. So I think Georgia's gonna I think they have a tough schedule, but I think they come out with 1 loss, and I don't think it's gonna be in the SEC championship game.
Nah.
So Georgia, both Georgias.
Yeah, I'm going Georgia.
So we I think we're in agreement on almost everybody. We have Utah, Ohio State, Georgia, winning, and then our only differences is NC State and FSU in the ACC championship game. That means, sir, if NC State wins, they are a top 4 playoff team, and they get a bye in the first week.
Yeah,
So,
probably not going to happen, but I'm having faith.
okay,
We'll
so
probably we'll probably lose we'll probably lose three in a row.
well, we'll see, we'll see. With that said, I did a prediction of the 12-team playoffs, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Um, like I said, obviously the top seeds are I had number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Georgia, number 3 Utah, and number 4 FSU. Those are my championship winners. Um, the number 5 seed playing the number 12 seed is Oregon versus Appalachian State. I think Appalachian State's going to be my G5 conference winner. Winner of that will
Hmm.
play FSU. My 8 and 9 seed is Virginia Tech versus Kansas State. I think if Virginia Tech has a season where they have 2 to 3 losses after the ACC championship game, that could be a possibility of sneaking in. Um, number 6, and they'll play the winner, which will be Ohio State. I think Ohio State's going to go undefeated. Um, the 6 and 11 seed is Tennessee versus Notre Dame. This one I had trouble with because I had Alabama there, but I it's one of those where Notre Dame's schedule is a little bit easier than Alabama's. I love Kalen DeBoer, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. So Tennessee versus Notre Dame, and then 7-10 seed matchup is Penn State versus Ole Miss. Um, I think Lane Kiffin has a shot this year. I think they finished third in the SEC. Um, and now that I say it out loud, I don't like my picks at all. But going forward, I have Oregon beating App State, Virginia
I
Tech,
was about to say.
Virginia Tech beating Kansas State, Tennessee beating Notre Dame, and Penn State beating Ole Miss. Then I have Oregon beating FSU, Ohio State beating Virginia Tech, Tennessee beating Utah, and then Georgia beating Penn State. So the final 4 I have is Oregon versus Ohio State and Tennessee versus Georgia, which is the repeat of the Big 12 and SEC championship games. I think the outcomes are the same: Ohio State versus Georgia in the final, and I have Georgia winning it all.
Really?
I do. I think it's a revenge tour for Kirby Smart.
I didn't I didn't break it down that far
No, you're good. I did it on my own
as
there.
far as that goes, but I will tell you the two teams that I have playing in the national championship is I have Georgia and Oregon, but I've got UGA winning it all.
Yeah. I think we both agree that Georgia's probably going to win it all. Ohio State, I think, but in Oregon's not a bad pick. I just don't trust Dylan Gabriel. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. It's gonna be a fun year, man. All right, so let's talk about Heisman.
Yeah.
So the last thing for the preview here is we have Heisman game picks and then players to watch. Um, for this week. Heisman, we'll go dark horse here. So my dark horse, I have 2. It's going to be Nico from Tennessee and Ollie Gordon. It's typically a
Mother.
quarterback award. But I think Ollie Gordon, as we already said, I think he's going to be a stud this year. And I can see him even cracking the top three potentially. Um, who do you have as a dark horse Heisman candidate?
I had Ollie Gordon.
Yep. We're both high on him, man. And we'll see, man. I hope he can stay healthy. I think we just cursed him, but I hope he can stay healthy. Um, so who do you have as your top three finalists then?
This is not in any specific order. I'm gonna go Carson Beck, Quinn
Mm-hmm.
Ewers,
Mm-hmm. I hate you so much.
and I'm going Travis Hunter.
Ooh. Ooh, that's interesting. And you didn't put him as a dark horse. So you think Travis Hunter's
No.
gonna have a good year? I guess he's playing both
Yep.
ways. He could be like Charles Woodson style.
That's what I'm saying. It's under the
Interesting.
radar. They're not getting a whole lot of recognition right now,
Hmm.
like they were. So I think he's got something he wants to prove because he got hurt a couple games last year. So I think he's going to come out with a vengeance too.
Yeah. I yeah. I'm taking out Quinn Ewers because I had him in there, but then I didn't have him in the playoffs. So I'm taking out Quinn Ewers. My top three is Carson Beck, Dylan Gabriel, and then Ollie Gordon. I have to replace him with Ollie Gordon. I'm talking too much about him to not put there in there. The only thing I worry about with Ollie Gordon or even a Quinn Ewers is I don't have them winning the championship game or even in it. But I think he could have that big of a season. And same thing with Quinn Ewers. I think he could potentially have that big of a season too. But Carson Beck, Dylan Gabriel, Ollie Gordon. Yours is Carson, Quinn Ewers, and Travis Hunter. My winner, I think, is Carson Beck. If there's no other answer, he's gonna with the theme, George is gonna win it. George is on the revenge tour. Like it's gonna be Carson Beck. Um, I just think he throws for a ton. I think he gets 50 touchdowns this year.
He's going to light it up.
I I mean that's a lot of
I'm
touchdowns.
telling
So
you,
that's
I'm telling you right now, Kirby Smart is not happy with how things went last year, and
no.
he is going to be on a mission to prove a point.
You
He's
got
going to be
Carson as
like the
well.
Buddy Stevens. He's going to yeah, yeah. He's going to be like the Buddy Stevens of EMCC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can see them losing one game because how tough their schedule is. But if they lose one game in the season, I think that'll be beneficial for them, and I would not want to play them the rest of the year.
No.
Okay, all right. Well, those are our Heisman's. We agree once again on national championship and Heisman. Let's go ahead and we only got two games to pick this week. Because they're, obviously week zero, still games on here. We still got to get them, get picks. Last year, I think I pulled away at the end of the season. I think I won by 10 games, but it was still pretty close till the end of the season. So let's see how we do this year, Mr. Cooper. Georgia versus Florida State in Dublin, Ireland. Florida State is, or no, let's start off with SMU, Nevada. Excuse me. SMU at Nevada. SMU is 25-point favorites. Um, I think this is easy. SMU, Preston Stone coming out party from being hurt into the ACC. Better watch out. SMU wins by more than 25 points.
Yeah, I got SMU as well.
Um, like I said, the games next week we're probably going to do 15 games because there's so many good ones in week one, but only doing to do two this week. Georgia, and then the big game this week is in Dublin, Ireland. Like I said, Georgia Tech versus Florida State. As of right now, Florida State is favored by 10.5 points. Mr. Cooper, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Who you got?
Uh, I'm gonna have to go with the Knowles. I will say this though, do not sleep on Georgia Tech.
You
Do
took the
not be
words.
surprised if there is an upset. Do not be surprised if there is an upset because Georgia Tech started playing some really good ball late in the year. I mean,
Right.
they beat a Carolina
18
team.
is stud.
Yeah, they beat a good Carolina team. But I was definitely probably going to be playing in the ACC championship.
Yeah. I agree. You took the words right out of my mouth. I think FSU wins. I think they win by less than 10 points. I think DJ will struggle early because they don't have anybody really to throw to except for like a returning tight end. Um, they lost a lot of weapons, man, and their defense will be solid, which will keep them in the game. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. But time change, the unders have always hit in Ireland the last 3 years, so we're gonna go Florida State here as well. So both same. Just some free or what I'm doing for betting this week. I got 4 locks. Um, so don't really quote me on them. This is not gambling advice, but last year I did pretty well. I have Florida State, Georgia Tech under 55.5, and then Georgia Tech plus 10.5, 2 separate bets. Like I said, I like Haynes King. I don't trust DJ. I trusted him last year. He was good. But I don't Florida State. I think there's a curse around them. And I still think they're going to be salty from what happened to them last year. And the way they got beat by Georgia last year doesn't give me confidence that they fixed anything, that they're going to be good this year with all the people that they lost. SMU at Nevada, I have SMU plus 25 or minus 25. I think they win. Like I said, I think Preston Stone puts on a clinic. I think they win by at least 25 points, 4 touchdowns. I can see Nevada's not good. And then the last one is one I just put on here. Delaware State at Hawaii. Hawaii's favored by 39. Delaware State just missed their flight, 10.5 hour flight to go out there. So I'm thinking Hawaii, Delaware State over 57.5 points. I think Hawaii's going to put numbers on them because they'll be jet lagged. So that's who I got this week. Any issues with what I've said there with the spreads?
Nah.
Okay, and then player to watch. I said it during the game picks. A player to watch this week for me is Preston Stone, quarterback from SMU. I think he's a stud. I really think he's going to throw for 5 touchdowns. I also wouldn't mind putting in a flyer on Haynes King, but my player to watch is Preston Stone.
Yeah, I went with DJ.
DJ.
Yeah, the only reason why I went with DJ is because this is welcome back to the ACC. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, true. Yeah, I
You're
didn't even
gonna
think
you're gonna
about
be
that.
playing better defense. You're gonna be playing a whole lot better defenses than what you're playing out there on the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll see,
So
man.
I mean, this to me, this is going to be a mental battle with him coming back to the ACC platform and how well he's going to be able to handle the pressure
Yep.
because he's no longer at Clemson. You know what I mean? He's at Florida
Oh, yeah.
State where after last year they're expected 2 wins.
Yeah, they're expected to make the playoff. They're expected to win the ACC and make the playoff.
Yeah. So that was my player to watch.
All right, man. Well, welcome to college football season. We're here weekly. Episodes drop Thursday. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to one of us if you have our numbers. If not, we do have our Instagram page, YouTube page. I do check them. So just DM us questions and we will get to them. Here's to another college football season, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, you can't tell the Grays are coming out.
All right, man. We'll see how it is. See y'all next week.